It's Sunday and you're on the go.
At 3 o'clock, it's time to slow.
'Cause everybody that you know is
watching.
The Jeff and Katie Show.
The Katie and Jeff.
No, the Jeff and Katie Show.
The Katie and Jeff.
No, the Jeff and Katie Show.
Maybe it's commutable.
It's simply irrefutable. No matter what, we know that you'll be watching. The Jeff and Katie Show.
The Katie and Jeff
No,
Show.
the Jeff and Katie Show.
The Katie and Jeff Show. Commutable.
Refutable.
Disputable.
Delusional. No matter what, we know that you'll be watching. The Jeff and Katie Show.
And James!
Oh, look who's here.
Look at that.
Look
Did
at
you
that.
forget you weren't playing piano again?
I forgot I wasn't playing piano again. And musical chairs, I'm in the middle. Is this the first time I've ever been in the middle of a Jeff and Katie Show episode?
Maybe.
I know I was in the middle
no. Oh.
when we did the RTC follow-up with Holly Feldman.
The Mary's Playlist. Oh, that one. Yes, that follow-up the next day.
yeah.
But Mary's Playlist also, you were in the middle.
Mary's Playlist, yeah, but that's not the Jeff and
I
Katie
know.
Show.
Okay, you're right. Fine. Purist. I feel like probably, though, that you would have been in the middle because there was a time that I was really lobbying, given the plexiglass, to be on the left.
I was in the middle
with
of
my
Colin
guitar.
Walford.
Exactly. That's what I think.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Because I remember singing his song from here because I wanted to be close to him on the piano
Right.
too.
There were clowns to the left of you, jokers to the right. You were stuck in the middle.
What's that from?
Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am,
Stuck in the middle with you.
There you go.
Yes, I'm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm outflanked by the clowns and the jesters and the fools.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay, so you all
yeah.
are very lucky because you have tuned in to the BakeOff portion of the Jeff and Katie Show.
How does that make them lucky?
I mean, they're lucky every day. I mean, every hour they're lucky. But wouldn't you say the BakeOff section is one of the
Well,
lucky
it's one of the
times?
things that we talked about earlier off camera with James Kaplan, our special guest again, about the fact that, James, what's the disappointment about the BakeOff currently as somebody who's watching?
The disappointment? Oh,
Yeah.
that there isn't a way to facilitate getting the baked goods into the viewers' homes.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. But lest that become too much of an issue, we will say that all of the rest of the Bake-Off portions are really enjoyable. So you're right.
Yes, I am right. I also would just like to say that one time Jeff Herbst made me take out the lyric "lest" from my play Victory Farm, and he uses that word so much. Like,
That's why I made you take it out.
I know.
You know, this is okay. Confession on myself. I can get over ambizubrious with my vocabulary sometimes. and Charles is always like, "That's going in the play. That's going in the play. Everybody will know who that character is. That's going in the play." Oh boy. Yeah.
Okay, so now we would like to thank some sponsors. We have so many great sponsors of this event, which is our
kidding.
fundraiser. We always have this Raise the Curtain fundraiser, but the last few years we've had it virtually. But we'll be back to in-person someday
Sure.
soon. We know. But today we have we have many sponsors to thank, but in this segment we're thanking 3 of them. And those are Quantum PC, woo!
Woo! Door County Medical Center, woo!
And Pam Blanchard.
Pam Blanchard. Woo! We love Pam Blanchard.
Yes.
She's so lovely. Well, thank you guys so much. As I keep saying over and over and over again, because we're doing many episodes of the Jeff and Katie Show, so what else are we going to talk about? This Raise the Curtain event is really important to us, and your continued support for this theater company this past year has meant all of the difference. We have been shuttered from being able to do live performances for the year, and the only way we were able to make it through was through your generosity, so we are ever grateful.
Yeah. So much. And if you are just joining us now, our goal for the day of fundraising for today is $60,000. But even when we just started, we were already at 35 because you all are so generous and nice. And we have this matching gift challenge going on today of $10,000 from Warner and Sue Krause. We're so grateful for that. So if you'd like to double the strength of your gift, now is a great time to Do
make
it.
that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can do that in a lot of different ways. A straight donation. You can go onto our marketplace, which is a really great place to shop around for some extraordinary events and items, and you can purchase there, and that goes towards our goal. And you can also purchase a ticket for our premiere event at 7 o'clock, which is the world premiere of Not Even Remotely, a brand new musical written especially for Northern Sky and performed by Northern Sky people, written by Northern Sky people. It's, one of our signature things.
Yeah.
It's what we do.
So great. And so
Yeah.
that one you can come to tonight. It's running all week. And the rest of our in-person shows, tickets for those go on sale on Tuesday, June 1st. So,
Amazing.
so exciting.
Amazing.
That season in person starts June 14th.
I know. 2 weeks from tomorrow, we will have people in the park seeing us perform live again.
Yeah. What's that? What show? I'm trying to remember.
I have no idea.
The Fisherman's Daughters, I think. I believe it
Oh.
is a show that I wrote, I think. I'm just
You're
trying to
totally
remember.
mistaken,
Yeah.
Katie
Oh,
Dahl.
okay.
You're
Well, that's what I thought.
Delusional.
Yeah.
At 4 o'clock, we're going to talk all about
We're gonna
Katie's
talk about
brand
that.
new
So
show.
we
and
won't- yeah.
It's a great show.
So-
One of the things that I have done over this past year, mostly because of the Jeff and Katie show, but also because of Northern Sky at Home, is I've had the great pleasure of revisiting a lot of the music that's in the Northern Sky historical canon. I mean, that's part of what we really made every attempt to
Yeah.
do, was visit a lot of shows, sing a lot of music, and I had the distinct pleasure, as always, of singing a lot of James's songs, which always gives me a lot of joy. One of the things that you and I have been able to do over the years for fundraisers and whatnot is not only sing those songs, but also, stretch ourselves a little bit. And we're going to do that now by singing a song that we first did together, I don't even remember, like a long time ago, probably at Bjork, Linton?
Probably, or unless it was something at the auditorium.
Yeah.
I remember, early on, I remember a lot of when trying to get this Northern Door Y built. There were a couple events for that.
That's
and
right.
And so it could have been one.
Could have been one of those.
Yeah.
At any rate, we're going to sing a classic old musical theater song from a musical called Carnival, and the song is called Her Face. That's what I needed, just what I needed. Something hanging around my neck, a helpless thing depending on me to bear its burden, feed and clothe it, practically carry it. A grown-up girl with the mind of a child, depending on me, measuring me, staring at me, measuring me. Everywhere I look, I can see her face. I can see her face, see it everywhere. And when I close my eyes, it stays. And like a leaf whirls on a wind, around my mind it plays. If in my two hands I could hold her face, while my fingertips kiss her eyes and lips, and make them love and light and shine. But that would take two other hands, not mine. That would take two other hands, not mine.
So
It's kind of
gorgeous.
weird singing that song sitting down, I must say. Agitato conceited.
Agitato conceited.
My thoughts
Concierge. Right. James is like, I always am sitting down for these songs.
Yeah, right. Well, that was a Bob Merrill song, by the way. Do you know anything else that he contributed?
Why, yes, I do know. But I don't know other shows that he wrote both music and lyrics. But he wrote lyrics
Yeah.
for Funny Girl.
That's correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know that.
And a blind assist, believe it or not, on Hello, Dolly.
Huh.
He
Wow.
wrote Who Needs Confident? What's that song? Elegance.
Huh.
Yeah. And he didn't want to be titled.
Wow.
Merrick called him in to
Wow.
write. And the other one was a song that I don't even remember the name of now. But Elegance was one of Bob Merrill's contributions to Hello, Dolly.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
I know, right?
Huh.
Well,
He
because
was
we
one
think
of
of
the biggest. He was one of the biggest composer writers of the '50s. He had huge hits like "How Much Is That Doggy in the Window"
Oh.
and "Mambo Italiano" that Rosemary Clooney sang. So I mean, huge songs.
It's interesting because I think today you think of Jerry Herman as one of the greatest, and even only with David Merrick involved would someone have the audacity to question that Jerry Herman could solve his
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
But it was much earlier in his career, and it was when David Merrick, one of the last of the,
Great.
producers who,
Yeah.
it was his show.
Well, the other show that Bob Merrill, I think he wrote the words, the lyrics, and the music too, was an adaptation of Breakfast at Tiffany's. And Merrick produced that one as well, and it apparently just was a disaster zone from the get-go. And it opened on Broadway, and it closed after 4 performances without officially opening. And Merrick took out an ad in the New York Times that basically said, "I'm closing this show to spare all of the critics and all of you from having an excruciatingly boring evening." I was producer of the show.
Wasn't it Mary Tyler Moore?
Mary
The star
Tyler
of
Moore
it,
and
yeah.
Richard Chamberlain.
I would just like to say, I think it is hilarious that you two have influenced my knowledge of theater more than anyone probably, and I know know nothing. I only know what you have created. I know nothing about these things that you know of, and I wish that I did. But I'm going to work on it anyway. Now we've got baking, we've got food,
Oh
and
my God.
I'm very excited.
After Guthrie goes to college.
That's when I'll expand my horizons. Thank you. Oh, I should pass, right? Okay, whatever. Okay. Goodness. Okay, here, team.
Yes, we must show baked goods. Wow, this is an interesting plate.
Can you tell the people, describe sort of?
Yeah, well, yeah. So Katie is pointing to hers. Brioche au chocolat, says Katie Dahl in her best French. And then we have a German chocolate caramel bar. And David Alley made a rhubarb cake.
Oh, I'm so excited.
That's a nice little combo that's going on right there. Well, which one would the people like to try first? Okay.
Rhubarb, okay.
Molly Rhodey said with a mouthful, rhubarb cake.
Oh, I made it be all weird light now by being all close. Hello, camera. We have come over here.
We are very
Okay,
overexposed.
do you guys just make
while
your
eating
nice,
rhubarb
make your
cake.
nice sounds, will you?
I want to draw attention to the fact that these are 3 dramatically different textures.
They are.
Sometimes you see a plate of baked goods and they're all with slight variation, but these are completely different and original.
Well, we're going to stay on the rhubarb cake for now because we must talk about the much scoffed at rhubarb, at least in my household. I'm a rhubarb fan. I've always loved it, and my mother used to get. It's overexposed, but yeah, maybe it'll correct itself. My mother used to get it from the neighbors because they had a patch, right? And she used to love to make rhubarb bread and rhubarb pie and all kinds of rhubarb yummies. So I grew up eating rhubarb. But Charles did not grow up eating rhubarb, did not know what rhubarb was. We had it in the yard, in our garden, in the garden that we inherited when we bought our place over in Frogtown in Bailey's Harbor. And he instantly said, "That has got to go." And go it went. So we have no rhubarb anymore. So I'm always delighted when I get to enjoy somebody making a rhubarb dessert.
There's a funny Victory Farm rhubarb anecdote, which is that shortly after James Velk had agreed to write the music for the show, he was trying to whip us newbie playwrights into shape, right? And Emily and I were in this long, protracted conversation about what kind of fruit pie would they reasonably be making in June? This was like an earlier iteration of the show where there was pie being made in the early part of the show, and we were like, Emily was like, well, it'd definitely be rhubarb. And, we were having this long conversation, and James was like, screw the, what did he call it?
Verisimilitude?
Verisimilitude. What do you need, a plot? And then he said, plot schmott, pass the rhubarb. So now I like to say plot schmott.
Oh,
pass the
schmott,
rhubarb.
Pass the rhubarb.
Yeah.
That's good.
This is very good. Pass this rhubarb particularly.
I think, are we moving on to the next
Yes,
taste?
okay. Uh-huh.
Oh,
Okay.
pan au chocolat. James skipped.
Well, we were supposed to only be tasting the rhubarb.
No. Nobody can see your plate, so you don't have to confess anything, James. Oh, God. I have to pick it up, don't I?
I mean, I think that's best. I don't know. These,
So, wow.
in the picture, these were like this. I don't know if you could see when I put it up close, but the custard and chocolate are kind of like spilling out of this. And in the picture, that's how it was. So I feel that it's good.
It's delicious. And this is another nod to my mother, whom I've mentioned a couple of times on this, and we'll talk about even more thoroughly in just another dessert bite. My mother always says that her weakness is chocolate croissant. Like whatever. And I'm like, Ma, you're
We'll have to bring one for
know.
Dinah.
I know.
Yeah, this when you make this is the third time. So I think the best thing I've ever made in my life. I made for the Jeff and Katie show. I made pan au raisin. It was so good, and it was with this brioche recipe. And then I had a bad brioche. I made a bad brioche thing with the same brioche recipe.
Bad
There was
brioche,
Sugar
bad
and,
brioche.
bad sugar and spice buns. You may or may not recall how bad they were. And now, this is the third thing, and I would say I'm back to good. But in order to make the brioche with this recipe, the KitchenAid literally has to go for 40 minutes.
Wow.
It
No
was
way.
hot.
Smoking.
Yeah.
I'd be scared.
Yeah, I was scared.
Any appliance that you have to run for that long, I'd be like, I don't think that's right.
I kept stopping it
You
for a
did?
while.
Oh, you did.
I mean, it's not 40 minutes uninterrupted. You know, but that's how long it is. It's because it's 2 15-minute stretches and then like 3 5-minute
That's
stretches.
crazy.
I know.
So I have to get me one of those, obviously, in order to make desserts like this.
In order to make this, yes, you do.
Because otherwise, I'd be like,
Yeah, I can't believe that you've done this whole bake-off without that. That is like,
without a KitchenAid.
yeah.
I know, right?
I mean, yeah. I truly cannot believe that. All applause and glory to you.
Hail me.
Hell you.
I've never been a competitive baker, but I've baked a few things in my day.
And you played one in a musical theater piece.
Yakov.
Oh, right, a baker. Oh, yeah. I thought you were thinking. I thought you were suggesting that I played a baked good in a musical theater piece, and I was trying to go through my resume. I couldn't recall that. But what I was going to say is that I've never used a KitchenAid mixer in my life.
Ah.
So,
Wow.
haven't
Even
But-
when you
but-
made your famous Village Cafe coffee cake, huh?
well, there were some industrial strength.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Mixers. Yeah.
Now,
I need to get me one of those.
oh, you get my brioche? Oh, thanks, Molly, for asking.
Segway queen over
That's
there
a
off
perfect
camera.
thing. Yeah. I'm just going to, well, you tell them how they could get it, and I'm just going to try to convince this thing to focus on us.
So when we set out to do this little Jeff and Katie show business thing, Katie insisted that there be this bake-off. I initially said, no way, Jose. In no uncertain terms am I going to commit myself to baking.
This is like such apocryphal history. This is 1,000% not what he said. We should have a bake-off. That's what he said.
I know,
That's
but-
the end of what he said.
That is probably exactly accurate. But as Dorothy Parker said, I will say it again, that's just a true story.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway, where was I?
You're talking about the Molly segued us into how could she get her
Oh, right.
brioche.
So Katie Dahl insisted that we do this bake-off, and lo and behold, I decided to participate. And then Dave Alley, like on episode, I don't know, 1 or 2 of the J&K show, on episode 2, came up and said, I'd like to do the bake-off too, just like that. And so he did too. And so the three of us baked our butts off every single week during the summer and fall, and we came up with how many recipes? Like 66 recipes, I think, in the end.
Well, there were 22 shows, and we did 3 recipes each, so that was 66.
Math. And so we put a cookbook together, and we offered that as part of the Home for the Holidays marketplace. And now we then had some more episodes in our virtual winter season, and we continued to bake. because we couldn't help ourselves at that
No,
point.
we were still in lockdown. I mean, we had to do something.
Yeah, you had to, yeah, and we were enjoying it. And so we put together a nice little addendum, and that is available on the marketplace. That was a very long way of saying, go to the marketplace and buy the addendum of the recipes that we cooked in the virtual season.
RTC2021.givesmart.com is how you do that.
Now we're going to taste these German chocolate caramel bars.
Try closing the window. Maybe that will make the light be better.
And I'm going to make a
chocolate.
major confession, which is that I borrowed mightily from my DNA pool.
Oh my gosh.
And
I love your DNA pool.
I know. And my mother, because I've been like on the move, literally, for too long. I don't know where anything is right now. I don't have my own kitchen, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Charles and I are staying with my mom right now. And I said, Mom, would you like to do the baked good for me? And she's like, I will. And she decided that she wanted to make these bars, which she almost always makes at Christmas time as one of her many baked items.
Dinah, they're so good.
Aren't they yummy? I know. They're like yeah.
They're so, there's perfect because my grandma made so this is a little bit what my grandma's brownies were like. My grandma's brownies were not very, dark or fudgy. They were kind of like this
Little cakey.
Color. Yeah, they didn't have caramel in them, but like this reminds me of that. And it was so good. And I just feel like you don't see things like this as much anymore. And I don't know
true.
what's different about it, but I love this.
And there are walnuts in it too, for the nut lovers. So I just made a new rule for myself. I know that you had a sort of a little rule about an assist based on if you knew. I think it was. I just made it up in my head. if you were on the Jeff and Katie show and needed to bake, and you knew somebody who owned a bed and breakfast with a world-class restaurant, you could lean on them.
Yeah.
Is that a fair rule? Would you say that
that's
was?
as long as the best breakfast, as long as the restaurant had one best breakfast in America on Good Morning America, then you could lean on them. That's a rule I made
So
up.
my new rule that can get added to the bake-off rules is as long as you share 50% of your DNA with somebody, that you can get a heavy lift. Oh, by the way, I learned in researching that whether or not I was right about having 50% of my mother's DNA. Do you know that women have 50-50 split between mother and father? A woman, a girl, when she's born, has a 50-50 split. Men have a 51-49.
You're kidding.
Nope, 51 of mom and 49 of dad. They need more help, obviously, those boys.
Well, that's
isn't that
so
interesting?
confusing because you would think it would be the opposite because a man is an XY chromosome and a woman has an XX
I think
chromosome.
she just has to assert herself in that situation and say, no, baby, I own that one too.
Right.
This seems like a good time to bring up my ancestry DNA testing.
Oh.
What'd you find out?
So one of the things that's great about that is that, you get it done and you get your results, but they continue to update the results as technology changes.
Oh, really?
Because technology improves, not about your sample, but about the interpretation of the data.
Sure.
So that sometimes there's a new revelation.
Oh.
And mine is, stunningly concentrated over Russia, Poland, Belarus, Eastern European Jew, right?
Don't tell me
But-
Machu Picchu slipped in.
But no, in the revised version, up to 1%
Yeah. Yeah.
Finnish.
Wow. Wow.
I love it.
So you are qualified to be in the musical version of Frozen.
Yes, yes.
All you need is 1%.
I think
is what I heard.
isn't it called Frusenglaja?
Yeah, Frusenglaja.
Yeah. But so that got me to look at the map, and in fact, Finland is just over the body of water
Well, they've had many wars with
from Russia. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also
The Sino-Russian wars, they called them.
exactly.
Yeah.
yeah, because Sino. Wait, the Sino doesn't mean Finnish, though, does
I
it?
think so.
It's crazy.
Maybe I'm not. Maybe not.
No, I mean, wouldn't you think it would mean Chinese?
I know.
Anyway, sorry.
In a future Jeff and Katie show, you should budget for a full-time fact checker.
Yeah. Check
Yeah.
this
You
one out.
know.
Yeah.
I mean, I do that a lot when I'm home watching you. I mean, I often will say to Kay, like,
Right. Well, the time that Jeff Herbst tried to
gaslight
tell us
you.
that. Yeah, try to
Pumpkin?
gaslight us about pumpkins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we
but
talk.
that was pretty darn accurate.
We talk about that a lot
No, very accurate.
in our
It
house.
was not
yeah.
accurate.
I was saying that they aren't the pumpkins that everybody puts out on their doorsteps.
You said that they were squash.
Well, they are, I mean, botanically, they are squash.
But pumpkins are squash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sino, a combining form related to China or the Chinese.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so what's Finnish? Swami. No, seriously.
I think.
What's
I mean,
the
maybe.
language, right?
I'm looking
Swami.
it up, everyone. I mean, the language is Finnish. But
Yeah, I know the
but
language,
like,
but you know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
Yeah. I'm here to tell you that the country code is 358 or 46. Category Finnish prefixes, morphemes. I'm not gonna. This is my brain has been addled by bakery, and my phone.
And it should be.
Yeah, and also that's a hard thing to look up. Prefix Finnish. It doesn't. It. You know what I mean? I don't know what the right Google terms are.
Yeah, and it goes through Google Fish or whatever it's
Well,
called. and
let me
back
just say that
again.
one of the things
Right?
that I say a
it
lot to
Google
Kay
Fish, Babblefish?
now
Babblefish. Right. Yeah.
is let me finish.
Yes.
Oh, you say. Oh, I see. That was the end.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah. I'm done now. I'm done now.
Oh boy.
All
Oh
these
boy.
feel good. Unfortunately, they're putting me in a sugar coma.
Yeah, you could come back in a minute and
Yeah.
all of us just like on the floor.
I know. Asleep.
We have to keep our energy up because the next segment is the most important of all the segments because it's about my play. I joke. They're all very important, of course.
Katie Dahl, who won this section?
Who won this section? Well, I saw on the schedule, weirdly,
Yeah.
that a winner had already been declared like a few days ago.
Really?
A winner.
A winner.
Yeah.
I thought I was the judge.
Well, I know,
know.
but it was so weird because the thing said Bake Off, guest judge Jimmy, song, her face, winner, Katie. So weird.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird, James.
Is her face like a phrase that Jeff uses as like a nickname for you?
Yeah.
Like
He says,
yeah.
Yeah, her face.
her face over here. Yeah. Well, even if I'm not the judge, can I? Well, no, I don't want to get. I don't want any trouble.
hey,
Hey, what?
Pam Blanchard,
Whom we love.
whom we already adulated moments ago because we
Yes.
love her so, got us really close to making our match.
Seriously?
I hear. That's what it says.
Oh, my goodness.
So amazing.
She was already a sponsor, and now she's getting us closer to our match. That's incredible.
Pam,
Thank you,
you are the
Pam.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I trust, Pam, that you're watching. I hope you're watching. And we can't wait to see you. I know you love volunteering at the theater, and we are so looking forward to all of our volunteers being back with us in person. Just
It's going to
can't
be
wait.
great.
I know my mother, I keep saying it, but she's like, I signed up. I'm like, are you just doing the park? And she's like, nope. I love being at that Gould. I love being at that Gould because she volunteered like all the time during Dad's season tickets, and she just loved it, loved it.
It's so great.
I know.
Yay.
It really is great.
Oh, it's so good. It's like all these things feel so good when they, like after we didn't get to do them for a year, they feel extra good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for sure. Dave Alley has been already hard at work for at least this past week, right? 2 weeks now. Oh, that's right, 2 weeks. Good Lord. And you've got a crew of 5 guys that have been helping you out, 4 or whatever. So the 5 of them have already been out there. The Tuesday crew has already been out at that park, whipping things into shape. And those guys have been hanging lights and focusing. I mean, it's all stuff that we have not been able to do for a year.
Yeah.
We've been doing this, and this is a lot of work.
Right.
But it's not what we've traditionally done
Right.
at Northern Sky, and it takes a lot of people to get a season up and going.
Yeah. I know Sean and Rich have been hard at work in the dressing rooms.
Yeah,
and,
exactly. Which looks great.
Good.
And just a nod out to our Neen Rock. I was saying to Charles when we came back, we took a quick trip down to Texas. Had to drive down there and then drive back up right before coming, basically back to do this thing we're doing today. And as we crossed over the bridge, it's usually about the time that I would do that, historically in the past, to make the drive up. And there's always this sort of sense of when you get to Sturgeon Bay and you see the canal and you realize, oh, I really am going onto an island now, and and it's Door County. And I just said to Charles, for years, the first person that I would see when I would come here would be Neen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just for years I would come up and I just knew I was gonna, because she'd already be hard at work and I knew where she would be, and so a huge just remembrance of our beloved Neen Rock.
We are missing her so much in ways that I think all of us now that we've been missing her for months, but now as we move into another season, it's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, that I was saying, we had a board meeting this past week, and, every month it forces me, in a good way, to have to write a report and to reflect back and to think forward and be accountable to the board for what it is that we're doing and how things are going and all of that. And of course, it's been strange this year to do that. And now that we're back into a season and we're actually hiring people, and I'm looking at, like, David's crew, for instance. Jimmy Balistreri is going to be back with us, and Jimmy was an intern with us, and now he's going to be David's assistant technical director out of the park. Sean Galligan, who is basically stepping into Neen's position as our equity stage manager, started out as an intern with us. I put a list together of all of the people who had interned with us who have now stepped into really major roles in this company, and I think that is really great. I just think I think it's the future of the company is in young people's investment in our ideals and our mission.
Yeah.
And it's happening, and I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah.
I'm just so grateful for that.
Yeah. I agree. Well,
Here we are,
all
baked out.
All baked out. So we've got two more Jeff and Katie segments. One at 4 about the Fisherman's Daughters with special guest Dan Clare. One at 5 about the Marketplace with special guest Holly Feldman and secret special song with Molly Rohde, James Kaplan, and me.
That's right.
And then at 6, we've got Northern Sky Fashion Spy with LaCrissa Granberry and Doug Clemens. And then at 7, you can still buy your tickets to see Not Even Remotely, which is premiering tonight. And that is a world premiere musical. It's going to be in the Gould in July, but we really think you should see it both ways, this virtual way, because it's a really cool thing that you probably have never seen anything like before.
What they have been up to down there in Chase and Molly's condo is really worth looking at.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very creative. It's just alive with all kinds of wonderfulness.
Yep.
And it deserves to be seen.
Yep. Cool. So, yay. Well, shall we sing ourselves out?
Oh, and let's do that. I wonder what song we'll sing.
We're really good. Yeah, I wonder. We're really good at this reprise kind of version of this song.
Yeah,
So,
we
we're
are.
Good.
So good at it.
We are.
I hope. Yeah, I think so.
The Jeff and Katie Show.
The Katie and Jeff Show.
The Jeff and Katie Show.
The Katie and Jeff Show. Commutable.
Refutable.
Disputable.
Delusional. No matter what, we know that you'll be watching. The Jeff and Katie Show.
Rhubarb!
Yay.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
See you at